One of the absolute worst things that we can do with our lives is play the victim. And you see it everywhere, right? And it's easy. It's very easy to feel as though life is completely out of your control and your life sucks and you can't do anything about it, because we're trained to normalize that, right? We're trained to be okay with having a bad day most of our days. And this is just life, right? I just have to go to school. I just got to do this job, and this is just life, right? I'm just gonna, you wake up every day and you're just like, all right? There's no fire, there's no joy, right? But when you play the victim, not only are you deceiving yourself, but you're ruining your life and setting yourself up for failure. It's self-sabotage, because what you have to realize is so many of the things that you complain about and that we complain about and we believe are so out of our control. Some things are, right? Some things are out of our control. But so much of this stuff secretly is within our control. And guess what? There are so many things that you can do to change your situation, right? It depends on your age. It depends. Like, for example, if you're 60 or you're 50 years old, you have a family, you have a wife, kids, and you're in your secure job and you need that amount of money to survive and stuff like that. That could be a difficult thing to leave, right? But especially if you're younger, you got so much potential. You have so much potential. So believing that there's no way out of your situation is a load of crap for the most part, right? So let's say college. You're in college and you don't like the school you're at. And most colleges are expensive to go to, so maybe, all right, I don't like the school I'm at, maybe I'll try a community college, maybe I'll try one that's less expensive, right? I might enjoy it more, and I'll be spending less money. If you're working at any minimum wage job at my age, I've worked at restaurants, right? Every restaurant is always hiring for the most part. Quit your restaurant job, go somewhere else, right? You have so many options. And if there's one thing that I've learned, if you've met any high performers, and I've only met a few, but the ones I have met and spoken to, I realize that they all have one thing in common. They don't complain all the time, right? They're more always looking for, okay, this is a problem I have. All right, what are all of the different solutions that I could, throw at this and figure this out, right? Not sit back and be like, this happened to me. Because we normalize it for someone to say something bad to you, and they make a negative comment towards you in the morning. And then it's normalized that we can just let that ruin our day. Why do we let that ruin our day? Especially most of the time it's, someone at a at the coffee shop, or, in traffic. It's like people you don't even know. So why are you taking their opinion seriously, right? And so when none of us are ever going to get ahead, and never essentially going to get anywhere that we truly want to do and achieve real goals, if we play the victim all the time. You can acknowledge that there's things wrong with the system and some things are out of your control. But if you sit back all the time and don't take any accountability, because this is something I talk about all the time with my guests on the podcast I do, is there's tons of unfavorable circumstances that happen to us throughout our lives that may very well be out of our control. And some of them are in our control, and they're a consequence of what we did or didn't do. And one of the biggest things is, so many of us don't want to take responsibility for our actions or our lack of action, or even something that happened to us that was out of our control. For example, if something really bad happened to you, your parents did something really bad to you that left trauma and left mental scars on you when you were a child, and that affects your life now as a teenager and as an adult, and you're just like, oh, they did this to me, this is just how I have to view life. It's like, what happened to you wasn't your fault, but it is your responsibility to acknowledge how you feel about it and then change it. Because why do you want something that happened so long ago to allow you to suffer for the rest of your life, right? We have a tendency to take our problems, shove them to the back of our mind, and forget about them. But we don't realize that they grow and they grow and grow, and then they surface again. Something might have happened 5 years ago, and you just shove it to the back, and you think it's gone. But once a situation is going to come up again, and it's gonna spark it like that, and you're gonna be like, whoa, I did not know this was still here, right? And so it's really important to take responsibility for how you feel so that you can change it. Because if that negative situation and that negative person did that to you, whatever it was, it's like, you don't want to sit for the rest of your life and deal with that, right? Sit down with yourself. I think a big thing is, kind of, meditating on it. It doesn't have to be like spiritual meditation, just sitting and meditating in the sense of just thinking about it, like going in depth and acknowledging every feeling that you have about that situation. And then consciously work every day. If it was a big situation and left a big scar on you, consciously work every day in your mental for just 5 minutes a day to essentially move on from it and let go of it. Because when things happen to us and experiences happen to us, they create programs in our mind, right, that we aren't aware of. And so if somebody tells me that I'm not good enough when I'm younger, that usually sticks with me, and that's now a program in my mind, for example. So then I usually believe that about myself. But if you acknowledge that that negative situation is a program in your mind, and you can work to change it, right? It's not easy. I'm not gonna tell you it's easy, because it's not. It's gonna take time. But the cliche saying, good things take time. They do. I mean, some stuff happens overnight. Sometimes stuff just happens, right? And it's great. But it's always worth it to realize that you have control and not think that you're the victim all the time. And let me let you in on a little secret. Now, occasionally something will happen, but for 99% of us, nobody's coming to save you. You have to save yourself. We all have all these problems, and we're like, all right, our life isn't good, and one day someone's gonna come along, or I'm just gonna wake up one day and I'm just gonna have the realization of, all right, this I'm better now, right? And it just happens overnight. But for most of us, nobody's coming to save you. People will look at you and see that your life is negative, you're not in a good mood, and you're trying to bring everyone down, and they're not gonna want to hang around you, right? And so even if they could help you, they're not going to, because you're not letting them, or you're giving them that negative attitude, right? And it's like, we need to be more open-minded to change, essentially, because we accept things, right? If we're in an environment for a long time and it's a negative environment, we eventually accept it, right? Because it's comfortable. It's like you're not thriving and you're not happy, but you're in it, and it's just your body knows, and your mind knows what's happening every day. You're doing the same thing, right? And you're like, oh, this is just, I'm going through the motions, right? And I'm comfortable with this. And it's so difficult to leave our comfort zone, because once you leave your comfort zone, all of these opportunities open up, and I'm telling you, you begin to meet more people if you're open to talking to new people. New situations flow into your life, and things just seem to get better, right? Life starts happening for you, right? And we always have this perception of like, oh, life is just happening to me, all this negative stuff is happening, but life just starts to happen for you, right? And it starts to serve your purpose and support what you're trying to do, right? Because as soon as you open your mind to change, as soon as you realize that your life sucks, you're like, all right, I want to consciously change, I want to start this new habit, and I'm going to start doing this and be more aware of this. The universe, God, whatever you believe in, picks up on that, and it's like, all right, let me help this guy, let me help this girl get to that place, right? And there's gonna be tough situations. All in all, realize that you do have control over your life, and you can make changes, even if they're small changes, right? So, I hope this helped you. Enjoy the rest of your day.